Semrush recently released a study that looked at the qualities of content that most strongly correlate with getting AI citations. The study ended up finding that there were 5 qualities of content that tend to have a strong positive correlation with earning citations in LLMs. I'm going to go over what those 5 qualities are and talk a little bit about them and talk about what you can do to optimize for those qualities. Before we dive in, it's important to take you back to your high school statistics class and remind you that correlation does not equal causation. Just because there is a strong positive correlation does not mean that these specific qualities are what are causing businesses to get cited in LLMs. It just means that there is a strong relationship between content having these qualities and also appearing in AI citations. We can't attribute it directly and say these 5 things are absolutely a guarantee to get an AI search results, but they are things that can dramatically increase your chances of being cited. The first quality they found had the strongest positive correlation was clarity and summarization, which is just really no surprise because LLMs are very direct. They want direct answers, they give direct responses. It's not really a surprise that this had a really strong correlation with citations because that's just how LLMs operate and they want those direct responses. They don't want to sift through content that it takes a while to find the answer. And it can be like that with users too, where if somebody wants an answer to a question, they don't want to go through 3 paragraphs to find it. They want to find it right away. LLMs are very similar. Having clear summarizations are super important for increasing your chances of getting cited in AI search results. So just thinking about if you're addressing multiple sections on a piece of content, make sure that you provide the answer first and then dive more in depth in the following paragraphs. So that way you're answering the question immediately, but you're still providing that additional helpful information. The second quality they found that results in more citations is EAT signals, which again, not really a surprise there. EAT signals have long been in the ecosystem with traditional search, with boosting authority and your ability to earn placement in the search results. So that's kind of carrying over to LLMs now. And it's not really a surprise because LLMs want to cite websites and businesses that are authoritative, that are good resources for information. If you're showing strong EAT signals, then you're more likely to get cited in AI search results. EAT signals, if you haven't been practicing them, if you haven't been implementing them, they can look like a variety of things. Essentially, it's anything that shows that you are an expert, that you have experience, that you're trustworthy, that you're authoritative within your industry. It can be something as simple as adding awards to your website that your business has won within your industry, adding certifications, adding specific licenses, any of that sort of stuff that kind of signals that, you're doing the proper things within your industry or that you're kind of going above and beyond, if you add awards. But it can also be things like having, people at your company who are experts in your field sharing information, sharing a quote within a blog post or doing a video interview. Those sorts of things are also great for boosting your authority and trustworthiness because it's real people who work in your industry that are sharing this information. You can also do stuff like creating author bios because that helps add validity to the information you're sharing through your blog. And the best benefit is that it's going to help both your traditional SEO strategy and your AI SEO strategy. The third quality they found had a strong positive correlation was Q&A format. And it makes sense because of the way that FAQs are formatted. So as I mentioned earlier, LLMs really like clarity and summarization. FAQs typically do that. If you have a question, you're providing a direct answer. If you go on any number of business websites and you find an FAQ section, the answers are usually pretty direct and short. That's a good signal for LLMs because they want those direct responses. They want those direct answers. So If you're looking to take advantage of this and add Q&As to your website, you really have to be nuanced about how you do it, because a lot of businesses see this and they are just like, well, let's throw an FAQ on every page just so that it's there. But you really want to make sure that you're being tactical about it in your approach to ensure that you're not over optimizing. And I think that that's something that needs to be said about all of this, is that if you try to overdo it, it can end up backfiring on you. Don't just add questions to add questions to a page just so that you're addressing them. You need to make sure that it's contextually relevant and that also your audience would find it helpful. When you're building an FAQ on your page, really think about what questions you're including and if they're helpful to your audience, because that will help ensure that you're effectively creating these FAQs that not only are good for users, but are good for getting you cited in LLMs. The fourth quality they found had a strong positive correlation was section structure. The readability of your content has long been a factor with SEO, even if it's not direct, because it impacts how users engage with your content. And user engagement always has some influence on how your content performs in search results. If users are spending a long time on your page, it signals to Google like, hey, this content is good. More people are going to want to see it because people are already finding it helpful. So a lot of that does have to do with readability, which goes back to section structure. Leveraging things like headings, bulleted lists, graphics, all that sort of stuff that kind of makes your content more digestible and easier to follow is really important for creating content that performs well in search results, but now it also can have an impact on you getting cited in LLMs. You can use H2s, H3s, H4s, and kind of cascade down so that your content is super organized and easy to follow. And using bulleted or numbered lists whenever you're sharing a lot of items within a piece of content, just really thinking about how you can make it super skimmable and super easy to just rip right through, because that's going to help you create well-structured content that both users and LLMs love. And the last item that they found had a strong positive correlation with AI citations was structured data elements. Although a lot of LLMs will say that structured data has no impact, there is some buzz within the SEO space that it does have an impact. Things like adding like local business schema, or adding like item list schema, those sorts of things can help inform what your page is about. And even though a lot of people are saying, well, that sort of stuff doesn't matter because the bots aren't reading it, it's one of those things that it's helpful in all respects, even if they're not directly saying, yeah, your structured data impacts your performance in AI search results. Because structured data, again, is a key component of a good search strategy. So it's one of those things that it's helpful to have it, so you might as well have it. There's no harm in having structured data on your page because it has other benefits outside of AI citations. But obviously, the data from this study is showing that there is some correlation between having structured data on your page and earning citations. Those were the 5 qualities that were showing a positive correlation. But the study did find one quality that had a negative correlation, and this was super interesting. The one quality that had a negative correlation was non-promotional tone. A non-promotional tone means that the tone is very factual. It's very to the point. It's very plain, just kind of puts the information out. So it doesn't mean that LLMs prefer you to be promoting your products or service, but rather the tone that you have when you're creating promotional content is very professional. That means when you're creating content, that making sure that it's nice and polished and neat could actually be of benefit to you to getting cited in LLM search results. So that's just the overall look at what they found in this study. There's a lot of great stuff that you can do to your content to help you increase your chances of being cited in AI search results. but just keep in mind it's not foolproof and that, this is still being figured out and there's no definites about what really does work. But optimizing for these elements not only will help with your traditional SEO strategy, but it can help you get into AI citations as well.